Good morning, Dr. Gould. On this bright and sunny Sunday morning. Sorry, I couldn't resist giving you the weather update you've been giving us for the past several weeks. I'm going to miss that Sunday morning introduction and weather update. So I wanted to wait until Sunday morning to formally reflect on how my vision of myself as a creative leader has shifted over the past 10 weeks. That way I could digest our class from Friday night and reflect upon how I grew during my 8:15 poster presentation yesterday morning. I could spend some time talking about Daniel Pink's discussion on intrinsic motivation and drive, but I think I had an understanding of this prior to going into the course. I could reflect on the 10 phases of innovation and how they changed my creative leadership perspective. And it did. I really wasn't aware of the 10 innovative personas, and I surely didn't understand how one could move between the personas. I think I can use what I learned from Kelly and Lippman in my collaborative efforts in creative leadership as I continue to grow. But where I think I really evolved, where I think my creative leadership truly evolved, is more related to Puccio's design theory and Sharma's theory U. At the beginning of this course, I understood the theory U process. I had knowledge of it. But I certainly didn't understand how or why it was used. I had yet to practice it. I didn't even think it truly existed at one point. This course provided me the opportunity to practice Theory U. One of the major shifts in my thinking occurred in this area. Engaging in the design thinking process with my colleagues while designing our school of the future allowed me to experience the somewhat spiritual process of letting go, presencing, and letting go, or letting come. I think it was the design process that allowed this to happen, tapping into our feelings and intuition. Suspending our judgments as a group seemed to allow inspiration to take over. Designing without boundaries, truly brainstorming for the first time, and doing so without a devil's advocate in the virtual room, being encouraged to do so from you, it truly felt liberating. I think we even used some of the 10 faces in this process, but I don't know that we did so intentionally. It just seemed to evolve naturally. I recall responding to the first half of this assignment and trying to figure out how to intertwine creativity and education. As I was trying to determine my assumptions, I recall thinking education is all about teaching students new things and assessing them against a standard to determine what they know. After reading the likes of Brown and Puccio, engaging in the design process, and developing our school of the future, I've experienced an epiphany of sorts. I want to engage learners, not students. I want to inspire them to be who they want to be, or who they are meant to be. During our process of developing the School of the Future, I came across the concept of assessment for learning as opposed to assessment of learning. I'm becoming obsessed by this concept. Instead of trying to determine what learners know or don't know, I want to ask what's next for that individual. This is a huge shift in my thinking. Clearly, it will take great creativity and leadership, creative leadership, to cause these shifts to occur in others and in educational entities on a global scale. After engaging in the design thinking process and experiencing prototyping, crystallizing, well, it's like that first sip of a really good wine. I want more. I want to go through 801 again. Or maybe I can just make 801 a part of my life. Perhaps I can become a creative leader, deliberately engaging my imagination to lead my team toward the novel goal of surfacing assessment for learning, embracing the question, what's next for each learner, instead of what did the students learn. Funny, before I began the second half of this assignment, reflecting on my shifts in thinking, I watched the video I posted for the first half of this assignment, and seeing my assumptions about this topic a mere 10 weeks ago. I talked about Sengi, I talked about Fulvin, I mentioned Sharma's Theory U. I used some of Puccio's definitions in my video. Little did I know how much design thinking and design doing intersected with Theory U. Little did I know I would experience and believe in the process. I ended the video by walking outside and stating, I know getting outside the box is a part of my creative leadership toolbox. I continue to believe this. I suppose creative leadership, creative problem solving, design doing, and theory you are all just tools to help me get outside of that proverbial box. It's been a mentally draining 10 weeks, but 10 weeks that have allowed me to experience new things and evolve my thinking. I truly appreciate the reflective conversations, and I hope to use them in my own teaching in the near future. I truly appreciate your passion for the concept of creativity and design thinking. I truly appreciate your clear passion and belief that we can change the educational system as it exists. You are clearly deliberately engaging your imagination to lead a team toward achieving this novel goal. You are creatively problem solving. Seeing your passion and belief in this process has shifted my thinking. I choose to join this movement. I use the innovative design process in my leadership. As an aside, not a part of this formally graded assignment, I want to tell you that you are inspiring. I mentioned in the end of the video, my video, my first video, that I was already learning from you as a facilitator or teacher, or whatever it was you wanted to call yourself. The books were a nice addition to this class, but it was the inspiration of the teacher that brought to the learning environment that was imperative to my growth. For that I say thanks. And if I need to drive an hour past Downingtown to Harrisburg to continue to learn from you, I'm willing to do so. The sun is shining, and I've missed my family over the last 10 weeks. I think I'll go submit this assignment and get to know them again. Take care, Dr. Gould. I hope to learn from you again in the future and perhaps be a part of your movement. Thanks again.